Welcome back. Rusty has joined us to help.
Help.
I was trying to help you with the lip color. You put a lot of black in there.
No, I didn't.
No.
No?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're trying to sabotage.
Ah, okay.
So we're trying to get the color of the lips from red and white, and then Nick said put some black in.
Does anyone in Twitch chat
Look, lip color right there. Do you want to share my lip color?
How'd you do that?
Red and white, because that's what lips are made out of. Rusty, you know this.
That's what we did.
Lips are the mouth guard of the teeth. Red and white. That's all you need.
Do that.
These are sweet lips as well. Oh, Carl, I'm going to give you the sweetest pink lips.
What do you want me to do?
They're too pink.
You want me to do the lips?
Huh?
And it is a
That's
little bit
very
redder.
pink.
Yeah, I want him to. He's going out later.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
As long
Like,
as you're aware of what you're about to do to Carl. Because so far, I like your painting. I'm just warning you.
It actually looks really good.
Wait.
I said at the start of this, the lips.
That's the first nice thing you've ever said to me.
Yeah, and I'm warning you, you're about to explicit this up.
More red?
Hot pinky now.
More red?
I think a
More
little,
red.
like a
You
hint.
think more red,
No,
chat?
see, I think, have you got any of your leftover skin color?
No. Massive mistake. Here's my huge mistake. I turned the skin color into the hair color.
Okay.
And then into the suit lapel color.
Okay.
Rookie error, not keeping my blends.
Because I think that you need a tiny bit of skin color
Yep.
in your highlighter pink lips.
What if I take this amount of pink and add it to that amount of skin color?
Yeah, maybe.
Potentially.
I've got some skin color.
Your
dry
person's a
paint.
different skin color.
Dried paint
have it.
on a palette.
Just wet it.
Okay, here we go.
Maybe put some of that.
As the moment of truth.
Because you know what I mean. Like, it needs to
gonna
be
let him go
mostly pink,
first.
I hear you, man.
but with
I
a bit of
hear
skin.
you.
Oh,
Show me,
this-
show me, show me.
I
No,
wanna see
but I think I've nailed the feature color.
What?
Yeah, you use this one.
I mean, what could I possibly do to make this bad?
I'm gonna take a tiny bit more brown.
Like here?
Yeah, so take a little bit more of that brown and just keep working it until it's there.
There, maybe. Yeah, give a bit
Just
of
like Carl and his sweet pink lips.
Because yours is actually quite good this time.
know,
You've
Nick-
gone with my theory from last time. Do you know
really
when a
big
painting
juice.
stops being bad?
When?
Is when you stop painting exactly what's there.
Yeah, you started just interpreting.
Do you know what's going to
shapes.
happen, Nick? Is
Yeah.
he's going to actually save like these sound bites of you like complimenting him and just add it to his LinkedIn profile. He's going to
Yes.
stand out from the crowd.
I like
look at my
that.
hot pink lips. Look at my shirt.
Yeah, if LinkedIn
Look at my
profiles
hair.
were like MySpace pages, and when you
Oh,
loaded
boom.
it up, it just starts playing like music and sound effects.
Like this guy's cool. He's put an effort.
So
Can I say
Look
one
at those
thing?
pink lips.
I've wrecked the lip color, but I'm gonna turn it into eyebrows.
Okay.
Can I say one thing? There is no way you cannot see the resemblance now on our painting. Please.
That's a poggers. Yeah, I like that, bro.
That's a Pog champion in the chat. Not even Pog champ. Pog champion.
Why are earbuds
Still
coming
just
out of his
like that.
eyes? Is
Earbuds.
one of the questions from
Yeah,
one
so
diamond.
why don't you put more white
Yeah,
here? Just a question.
it's a step-by-step process.
yeah, I mean,
So we did the white on that side, and then I knew you were coming along, so I'll let you finish off the white there.
You're just watching me do the lips, so I'm nervous. So do you want to do the eyes?
Oh, I'll
while
do
I'm
the
going?
eyes then. I'll do the eyes.
I'm
The
feeling
eyes.
judged.
The eyes never lie.
The eyes are the gateway to the soul, or something like that.
Now I need to get skin color because what do I do with the nose? Like, do I use the same? I don't want hair color. I want it lighter than that.
The nose is just all about shadowing. So what you
Yeah.
should do is take something slightly darker than the skin color that you did not keep,
Yep.
and then make that like the shadow around the nose. And
Yeah.
once again, just paint what isn't there, Nick.
Yes.
Stop painting what is there.
Yes.
Paint what isn't there.
Paint what isn't that? What did you just do? What is
I
that?
broke the paintbrush.
It could only be an improvement.
Hang on a minute.
If you start painting what isn't there, like you start painting in shapes, it's very good. You've come a long way.
This is real backseat gaming, by the way.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Look-
You've got front seat gaming. There's a man standing next to you holding a paintbrush. It's just straight up cheating. I like his little love heart mouth though.
Yeah, I'm
We
just
decided to go with hot pink lips because it adds a bit of dynamic.
Well, he has closer to hot pink lips than
he's not
our
far
guy.
off. Yeah.
I reckon if we just put on a little shade,
Yeah.
like of lipstick, he's
I'm going to
there.
put black in the middle. Is that cool?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
for
scared
sure.
of
You
the
got it.
nose.
You got it.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
no,
scrub
I
the
can
nose.
feel it. I can
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
it.
yeah. I have
No,
no nose.
so what I want you to
confidence.
paint is not the nose. I want you to paint this first.
That's,
See these two layers?
That's nothing.
See these two lines?
Yep.
See them on Carl.
Oh, okay.
Paint that first. They're slightly darker. They're pretty thin. They're a shadow.
Do you reckon this?
Yeah, that's close
don't
enough.
have
So
any
what I
more
want you to
skin colour,
do
do you?
is I just want a little bit of paint,
Yep.
and then I want a clean brush, and you just pull it away.
Okay.
A little bit wet.
Because we need to make the pog
Yep.
have depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not more. No! Too much!
He's made out with
But
him.
this is what I was going to say. So then you just get a clean brush, like one of these. Oh.
That's a big
And
brush.
then for a shadow, you just pull it down
Oh.
a tiny little bit.
I never thought about
No.
not just using the brush I already have.
No joke. You know, I've seen makeup videos on YouTube.
And then,
Yeah,
That's
blending.
like, that's called a contour, like blending
so
it.
like,
Yeah.
you got
So
what
like-
you need.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
need
yeah.
this to be
Trust me.
Yes.
a little bit further down here.
Jake is like the savior of these paintings, I'll tell you that much.
You shut your mouth.
Don't tell him that.
I mean, his ego's
doesn't
big enough.
need to hear
He
that.
needs more.
You weren't here last year. You didn't hear what we heard.
That's a
I've
little
got
bit
VODs
too
to
much
watch, Nick.
Not like his skin, but that's okay. So now his lips are going to go here somewhere, right?
Yep.
So then, if
Yes,
you
better.
have another one on this side,
Because now he's not
Chris, I'm
cross-eyed.
going to try and use this
Yeah,
paint.
Yeah,
which
please.
is good.
Agree.
So this is what I wanted.
cool with
it
it
to
where
look
it
like, Nick,
lipstick,
this
but
light.
Cross-eyed
Oh,
totally
okay,
where I would
right,
draw
right,
the
right,
line.
right,
You see what I mean?
But I can get rid of that paint. I'll just put a bit of the old spitty on it.
Well, I think you can wipe it off. Like, yeah, if we just go,
He's sunburned.
yeah.
Big boy's like that grandma that just
Yeah.
sees you and he's like,
That's
"Come
good, that's
here."
good, that's good, that's good. So this is what I mean. If you just start painting what isn't there.
Yeah.
So what we've got now.
He looks like a little like a walrus.
Yeah, but that's what he looks like
He
a little
does
bit.
look like a walrus.
This guy getting roast today.
I mean, what did you expect when you sent in your picture?
Oh, well, you
So
know.
look,
True,
see now
true.
this gap is like this little bit here.
Yep, yep,
So, and then if we put some nice lips in here,
yep.
and
hard to,
then
like-
if we start painting, so like his nose is
touch
like
the
somewhere
edges
here.
of it, yeah.
Yep.
So what I would say is like, this is why I really wanted this color. Because if you make this color slightly darker,
We all want that color, Jake, but we need to move on.
How did you
and
make that
remember
colour?
That, I don't know.
More orange?
I squeezed a bunch of tubes.
I think like,
It just came out.
oh, it's wet.
Okay, yeah.
He
Put
looks
that
like
in there.
he's got a, like the KFC mustache.
What's game 3?
I don't know. My team already lost. tonight.
Gravitas taking on
Gravitas.
Mammoth.
Gravitas v Mammoth.
It is indeed.
It's game of the day, potentially.
I
Jubes?
mean, absolutely.
Yeah, I said that. I said I'm really interested to see those two teams play because, like I said, it puts Gravitas into like the promotional playoff
Yep.
tournament
Run.
run.
Yep.
And then it also like potentially gives Mammoth their first win because let's be honest, no one wants to see a team not win a game.
I love that, Rusty.
We don't want another tectonic
It's just,
on our
I don't know
hands.
how else to
Is
do
that
that.
anywhere
Yes.
near?
There's actually no way that's not Poggers.
That's actually good, bro.
Yeah.
And we can make it a little darker. While we figure out how to make it darker, let's get up the Mammoth lineup, please. Skimmy, talk us through the Mammoths.
Skin color.
Well, the boys from Mammoth, we got Kweku in that top lane, Bass in the jungle, Lived is your mid laner. It's going to be Nboma as the jungler and Imelg as the support. So bringing a new roster through today here, Nick. Going to be trying to change up their tempo
Absolutely.
and see if that is the winning formula to get a win over probably their best chance in Gravitas.
And arguably, at this point of the split, you don't have anything to lose.
No.
Mammoth literally do not have anything to lose.
Experimenting is probably the best time for this particular fixture.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Nick, that is lip color.
This is lip color.
That is lip color.
That made no difference.
Oh wait, no, it didn't.
That is lip
That
color.
is lip color.
Right, this is lip color. Oh my god. Okay, Juves,
Yes.
you have a history with Gravitas.
Yes.
Talk us through the new lineup.
Yeah, so in the top lane we have Beats, we have Prayless in the jungle, Suiman in the mid lane, Puma ADC, and K-pop support. So Beats is like the makeshift top laner. Prayless is obviously their captain, their experience. So I'm looking for him to have another big performance. I think he made a couple plays of the week as well.
Yeah.
Suiman, he's pretty much a veteran as well. He's been on like a couple of teams.
Do we call him a veteran?
Yes, for sure. He's been in the OPL for how many years now?
Who?
Suiman, 5.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. How many weeks has he been?
Well,
at the
okay,
OPL?
yeah. Now we're getting technical. And then Puma, who's been their rookie, but I think he's been arguably one of their best players, and he's standout for me so far. And K-pop's spent a couple of weeks in the OPL too. So this Gravitas team does have a little bit of experience. So
I'm sure everything you said was related to Gravitas and League of
It sounds
Legends,
all
so
been
thank you
painted.
very much.
I know.
Sorry, we're just nailing these lips, right? Nailing these lips so hard. This is so good. I mean, the advantage you guys have is just
Right.
during the third game, you can just slap a lot of like shadow
well, we
around
just
that,
need
and you're
like,
basically
once
done.
this is
This-
done,
yeah.
we could just like everything around it.
well, I'm taking time with his hair, so don't think there's nothing left to do.
I don't think, I know. There's a lot left to do, trust me, I'm looking at your picture. And we'll be looking at the next game after this break.
third game of the day. It's the banger of them all, if you will. Mammoth taking on Gravitas. Mammoth still without a win, but they've replaced their bot lane. No Styled, no Nausicaa. A new addition to try and bring in some love, try and find that winning recipe, if you will.
Skimmy, I'm supposed to be commentating.
You are.
Why did no one tell me?
Look, you know what? I had you covered. I knew as soon as I started talking, you'd probably get the motion.
Rusty, the blackness needs to go to the edges of his lips. You're going too far in. Look. It's all the way to the edge of the lips, mate.
I got you this, Jake. I know you're energetic, but I'll give you some more.
These guys cannot paint to save their life.
It's going to be a good one, I can tell
Oh
you
my
that much.
god, Juves' potato is sprouting.
Potato Head is looking pretty good.
It's going to be on, picked up first, Skivvy, as well as the Aatrox maybe locked in as a response. That's what we've seen historically.
Yeah.
Everyone apart from the Legacy lineup doesn't seem to have a great answer so far into the Ornn.
The first game of Philios isn't taken away. They actually opted for an Ezreal ban. You think it's too early to read as to why Gravitas may have taken away the Ezreal?
I mean, potentially because it's one of the best holders for Yuumi, right? Maybe one of the reasons that the lineup of Legacy went for it last game, as well as they were looking for like a Yuumi third pick or something like that. If you have Olaf as Yuumi, it seems to be a really popular composition at the moment. This is just a lot of early game team fighting as well, and Ezreal does scale really, really nicely, right? So I can see right now that Gravitas are kind of thinking, you know what, we got to brawl early. We can't let the Ornn go to mid-late game.
Yep.
We need to get this game over and done with as quickly as possible.
We didn't see an Ornn last time, and we know that both these teams do actually quite like it. That was the narrative going into the first 4 weeks of the OPL this year. Kweku has been the punching bag for many teams, and
Do I have paint all over my face?
you're actually good.
Okay, no worries, because I have it on my undisclosed brandless drink right
Your
now.
brandless drink that is giving you the courage, the fuel, the energy to bring it for this game here.
Very interesting as well, because I think that Mammoth have just kind of doubled down on, you know what, we can take this late.
Yeah.
Let's go Gragas, one of the best control junglers in the game. Let's go with Aphelios, you know, 2-3 items. That guy's going to be unrivaled. Has been hit by a couple of nerfs, but still very strong in the latter stages of the game. And just more brawling coming out from this Gravitas lineup. I really like kind of Gravitas' game plan here. I've been a big proponent that you should be able to beat Ornn. OPL game time right now is quite short.
Yep.
You know, teams are able to crush through these mid games, translate 15-minute, 5,000 gold leads to 20, 25-minute victories.
And close things out.
Yes, and be able to close things out. So I think that, you know, Gravitas are, I think, going towards what meta-wise seems to work a lot in O's. There's not been that many comebacks from behind. You know,
No.
Legacy's got a couple, and Chiefs have got a couple, and everyone else is kind of whoever's winning wins.
It tends to be that way, and I mean, we look at the historical match for this one. It was 26 minutes. There were 35 kills during that, and 12 towers fell down in that time. So
There you go.
there's a lot of action that's going to happen here. I don't think, despite a few of these members changing on both rosters, I still think the core crux of what they're looking to do is going to be there. We want to fight. We want to establish some kind of dominance and try, through whatever scrappy means, a certain gold level difference.
And both of these teams kind of play through their junglers, right? Bass has certainly been
Yeah.
the standout player for Mammoth so far, and I think that Praelis has received a lot of credit for the couple of victories that Gravitas have been able to pick up so far. You know, another victory here for the Gravitas lineup takes them like a touching distance from Order, from Avant, and from Pentanet, right? They're like right there with those teams.
Yeah.
So this is a huge game, and getting Praelis on something like a Jarvan that can have like input in the game from level 2, right? As soon as he takes that first buff, one of the most dangerous junglers going around.
And it's funny mentioning Praelis because last time in that post-game interview when they talked about this match, he said, oh, I drafted Echo because this is a solo queue team that I'm going up against. So I can play anything I want. I can just have fun. So definitely going to go towards more a traditional pick, as you say, for the early game strength with what they've already locked in so far with the Varus and the Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that Praelis is going to have another good performance here. Silas Hover is interesting to me because this would be almost blind. Skimmy is blind.
To blind Silas. We haven't seen it just yet out of this roster.
Okay, so that might be Human Silas in the mid lane. They can also just use it to match Ornn, potentially. Silas does have an okay lane into Ornn. Ornn doesn't really do much damage, and Silas can kind of just control the wave, heal up with that W. That would be interesting to me. So far, these two comps are just wild.
Mammoth going to lock in at the Pantheon here right now. They definitely, as you say, are locking down in the idea that we're going to find a target and lock on down. The amount of protection surrounding the Aphelios, we know how disgusting that champion can be. And with the Bard as well, I'm sure Rusty's going to be quite critical of that one, but they have a lot of disengage, engage, and just raw potential to let the Aphelios sit back from afar and utilize that cycle of weapons.
Yeah, and a couple of semi-global ultimates, right? In the Ornn ulti is pretty long range, as well as the fact that you've got Bard ulti and Pantheon ulti here. A lot of early game power coming in through the Pantheon and the Bard as well. Both of them are pretty bully heavy. And this would just make me so confused. Okay, that's a Rumble support.
It seems to be that way. They've grown inspiration from the Legacy Chiefs Classico that took place a few weeks ago. It showcased a fair bit of damage when they lay down the red carpet, despite...
It's going to be a jungle silence.
It's a little bit like a Zyra, right? You get like 1 or 2 items online, and you're just incredibly strong.
Okay, top Silas. I can stand corrected. Obviously beats. Played a couple of games in the mid lane, so should be familiar with these picks. And this is, yeah, as you said, this is taking some inspiration from the Legacy lineup, but with a slight twist, obviously preferring the Varus over the Ashe. But interesting comp so far. I'm intrigued.
I think Kweku's going to be quite happy, first of all, being on the Ornn. We talk about the fact that, you know, despite how far you can fall behind, if you are that punching bag, always going to have an impact. Obviously, we know that. We've talked about it many, many a times, but you took both these rosters and you say, okay, what are your win conditions? What really springs to mind? You already highlighted the early game strength that Gravitas have. What is the response here from Mammoth?
Yeah, I think that Mammoth kind of need the Pantheon to really get started. And I like the fact that it's partnered with the magic damage jungler. I would expect Cam to come in on Suman here, and for the Mammoth lineup to try and control mid-game and therefore control the rest of the map. When you have a look at Gravitas, they've kind of just got counter picks everywhere, right? You would say that the Rumble support did come in as an answer to the Aphelios. You've got a good matchup, obviously, for Suman in the mid lane. They picked into it, as well as the fact that Silas should beat out Ornn. So I think across the board right now, Gravitas need to get rolling early.
Omo, once again, thank you for joining us. You come into this one, it's a rematch against Mammoth, who are obviously hungry to get that victory. They've got a new bot lane coming into this game. Does that change much for you guys?
Yeah, it does, because we feel like their bot lane probably has a little bit more carry potential now, but at the same time, I'm also a little bit more familiar with ML, so it's nothing too unexpected coming into their bot lane.
And talk to me about kind of the scaling aspect of this game, because they've got things like the Ornn, like the Aphelios. You know, these champions past 3 items seem to be a bit of a trouble. Do you feel like your team's on a timer this game?
I feel like it's fine. They have scaling, but it's not like we're coming in without our own scaling as well. And I feel like we have more options to play into the side lane. We just have to be more careful of their potential to play the map early on with the Pantheon Gragas.
And talk to me about that, right? The semi-global ultimate of Pantheon, the annoyance of Bard. Like, did you give them any parting words of wisdom about dodging these champions in between these lanes?
Yeah, we have a couple of things that we think we can do to deal with the Pantheon bot dives coming in this game as well. So we'll have to see whether the boys manage to execute on that, but they should be pretty prepared for it.
And on a final note, you look at this roster, we look at how it played out last time. It was 35 kills I highlighted. Are we looking at another bloodbath here, or are you going to really try and play that macro pressure and just sort of, I suppose, choke the map on them so they have no room to maneuver?
It's going to be a bloodbath.
I'm looking forward to that one here, Spawn. Let's crack on with it. Mammoth taking on Gravitas in your 3rd game of the 5th week here in the OPL.
And we see topside start, which is interesting, right? Because normally when the Ornn leashes, you expect a double start, W start, so you get a big brittle proc. That would set Bass off on like a really quick jungle path. Instead, we see Kweku still start the queue, so there might be a little bit of confusion about where he started. Although Kweku did take some health and mana and bottom lane starting in, you can kind of do things like Facials, try and protect the slower jungler in the Gragas. Once Gragas gets levels into all of his abilities, however, he does start to jungle significantly quicker than Jarvan. So it should only be these first couple of camps where the Machete Jarvan, you know, with the attack speed from the E, does have that speed advantage, you know, after level 3-ish. Gragas should be able to put this on cooldown.
So we've talked about the jungle impact, obviously Praelis being the captain and the strong man on the team for the consistency, but I'm really interested in this bottom lane. We've obviously highlighted how exciting Puma has been and with them able to flex and Prowler from time to time, but the unknown factor for me from Mammoth's bot lane is, you know, how much of an impact can it actually bring, and does that really change things around? You know, almost says it does a fair bit. I'm excited to see if that actually translates into an on-stage performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've already heard Rusty talk about this, but Stout is more of that supportive bottom laner. Doesn't really have serious 1v9 potential by himself, but is super consistent. You know, pretty good laner. As we actually see some heavy damage on the top side.
Kweku looking for lethal range right there. It's going to burn a flash from Beats, and he's going to be stuck under his tower right now on a cannon wave, which is pretty rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the W now, he can maybe look to stay. However, he's going to complete the recall. Doesn't want to make similar mistakes and fall down a lot in the laning phase. So we'll just come back to lane with some boots for himself. That's a bit embarrassing, Skimmy, because I think the Sylas should win this lane matchup. Seen it played a little bit around solo queue, specifically in the mid lane, and Sylas does seem to do okay with that Conqueror.
Possible troubling times, but we have seen the Ornn in the mid lane flex as well. And you talk about Beats being primarily a mid laner. He has had to auto-fill that top role for the last few weeks as a result of nobody not being available for these games. We have to see how much of an impact this Rumble can actually exert.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a big thing, right, is why you pick Rumble. He's a big lane bully. He's able to help the wave shaft. However, it does look like right now that they're allowing the wave to push back into them. Two reasons you would do that. Either you're trying to set up a gank yourself and you're saying, Trailers, you know, let's come bottom lane. Or you're saying, okay, let's try and avoid being ganked. Let's trim the wave as much as possible. But we kind of want it on our side of the map. See Suman out of mana right now. He wants to get back. So he calls Praelis in. Praelis will be happy to share in some experience right now. And I think this is a fairly standard start to the game. Nothing really exciting happening yet, besides Beats having to burn his flash.
Praelis was feigning a rotation for a gank towards Tri, but I believe the pings went out to see his vision already there, which you can see on your screen now.
One of the big things, yeah, and one of the big things I would say to junglers at home is what Praelis just did is it's better to not show. You have more pressure as a jungler when you're not showing on Summoner's Rift than if you walk over wards, right? So if you know a ward's there, even if you feel like, hey, hold the thought.
Predator Gragas, we know how this one ends. It's a first blood easily picked up there. As Sylas does manage to even out the deficit with that CS, but Kweku shaking his head, loosening things up. He's feeling good. He's the one actually finding the kills this time around.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think, you know, that's a really great gank setup, and the reason that is so promising is because you would expect him to be pathing kind of bottom to top right now. Also seeing Malik had used the Ignite there, and K-Pop had to flash. Oh, K-Pop's so low.
Quite low. They were pushing the lane out to find priority so they can rotate through to the members of jungle and mid that are already there, and they want to take this Drake. Do have a little bit of an easier time with the entrance from the red side.
Puma also gets chased out right now. And that cancelled recall on K-Pop means that they're going to miss the entirety of this wave.
Yep.
So despite the fact that they picked up an early dragon here, they are losing out in, you know, a couple waves of priority. And even though top lane was able to push, also got ganked and died. So right now, Mammoth really have run of the map, Skimmy. They're performing much better in the early game. And that's strange because I said, you know, you look at this Gravitas lineup and at about level 6, they really need to be able to accelerate how the pace of this game looks.
Be pretty standard here for CMN, just wanting to stack up that tier. We know what Rise is all about. Extra mana, extra AP, extra damage for those combos, those cyclings of the abilities. But you've got to consider this top lane matchup. You talked about it before, even on the CS, but not able to find the ability to take down Kweku.
And I think he needs to be careful standing near the pillar like that. Like, Kweku thinks he's being baited right now because you'd have to say Beats with ultimate available for Kweku is nearly in one-shot range. We've seen it so many times from Ornns, but with the ultimate up, you know, with double brittle coming across from ultimate as well as a W charge, it's just going to be very, very difficult to be able to survive. And I wonder if we see any swap coming out here, because there's going to be a frozen wave down in the bottom lane. It's very difficult to be able to shove that wave back in now with Praelis passing away from the bottom side.
Grand Skyfall is available as well as the cast. They were fading a rotation to the bot side, but now the camera flips to the top, and once again we're looking for a kill. It's going to be a solo kill. Kweku taking down Beats and saying, welcome to the top lane. Yeah, have a nice day.
Absolutely called that one. He was just not respecting lethal range at all. And
it's so deceptively strong on Ornn.
I'm happy for Kweku, right? Because this is a guy that has come under a little bit of scrutiny within the OPL so far, but having a stellar laning performance so far, and what I think is, you know, can be a difficult matchup. But you just got to say Beats isn't playing very respectfully at all. You got to use that E to be able to dodge out on the Q charges that are going to hit you. You got to make this big, tanky Ornn play against the wave a little bit more, Skimmy. But just doesn't have to do that at all if you're going to continually trade into him like this.
Liv just going to continue to push that wave out. Has sacrificed a little bit of CS in terms of 10 to that Arise. Prayless is hanging around in his bot side, ready for that 1-2 combo. Comes on through to Mboma with Puma able to pick up that kill. And the quiet, passive bot lane finally finds some action.
Yeah, and finally Prayless gets involved, right? We said already that this is the guy that we look to on the Gravitas lineup to be able to have big carry performances. Well, gets in there for his bottom lane, able to pick up a kill for Puma. Puma was down in CS, able to catch up a little bit, and the kill will certainly help him. But still right now, 800 gold lead for Mammoth, and you look at who the tank busters are. They don't really exist, unfortunately, for the Gravitas lineup. Really, it's going to have to be Human trying to create some split push pressure if this game does stay in this situation. And I just think that split pushing in O's has always kind of been a bit crappy. And not only that, you know, split pushing against a Pantheon or a Bard who are able to just catch you out of position so easily, you know, Magical Journey as well as that Tempered Fate. This game could become really, really rough, Skimmy. So transition into the mid game. Whilst they did get a kill, certainly far from smooth right now for the Gravitas lineup.
Lane swap will take place, as is tradition. We haven't seen it in the other games today, but we will see it in this matchup now. Bass does have the Predator available, and he was posturing towards that Rift Herald beforehand. Vision is predominantly around that side, but look at the map for Mammoth in the bottom section of that jungle. It's lit up blue with control wards.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I would expect Mammoth to only just play around their control. They know right now that you got, you know, the ult from Puma as well as K-pop online and available. You don't want to have to fight that. Instead, let's just continue scaling. We're going to be able to get a couple of plates onto our Aphelios. Aphelios actually eats turrets alive at this stage of the game, right? So he's going to be able to take 2 plates for himself already. That's a Rift Herald charge. So you say this Rift Herald, unless there's a kill, already pretty even. And if they're able to gank beats here, he will pretty much be out of this game so far. So he needs to be real careful.
Aphelios has had a few changes. It is 10-4, so his sentry is a little bit weaker, and his sniper cannon not going to give you that auto attack reset. Still an absolute monster of a champion. That's the reason we're seeing such a high priority on it. And
because they're flipped and flipped back now, Skimmy, because Dragon's coming back up and available in 20 seconds, the big beneficiary is just Kweku, right? He's gone up 20, 30 CS now. He's already got himself that solo kill. He's going to have teleport if he wants to base, and he can teleport down. He can just put it if he wants to walk instead. Looks like he will cop that base, and Mammoth should have full control over this Dragon right now.
Yep.
Gravitas haven't gone into a 1-3-1 or anything fancy. There's just no way Beast gets priority against anyone on the map, and this is going to be a shutout Drake.
Mammoth are finding level advantages across the map. Both Lived and Quick are the highest leveled champions in the game so far, both sitting at level 9. Beats was down about 2 levels beforehand. There goes the flash. The cask to try and dodge out that flag and drag, but Prayless is on that one.
So it could be a fight now. You can see Kweku has come down on a rotation. Lived a little bit out of position.
Here's a situation. A collapse could take place here from Mammoth. They're going to start things off with him. Prayless is going to get instantly shredded on through. He's buying time with the summon as the Cataclysm to lock Lived in place, who can't use that Grand Skyfall. He may have to use it as a disengage tool. Seaman going to flash out from the knock-up that Kweku was looking at. Meanwhile, the Drake all along was a spectator, down to 500. There's only 1 smite available, and it will be Bass that collects it. Finally, Puma gets himself on the score sheet and finds the kills. It's a 3-for-4. And Gravitas just lose on all fronts.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that Liv did fall down in that situation. However, equal trades coming across, and then you have the Dragon on top of it. Mammoth right now just looks a hell of a lot more decisive than what Gravitas looked, right? They're willing to burn those abilities and ultimates to get themselves in range. Even if the initial engage was a bit scuffed from Bass, still stuck around for the rest of the team. And this is a very decisive call. You know what? Let's just go for it. Flashing in once again on the Pantheon, throwing out the Ornn ultimate. Able to get back over the wall here is Bass. He's going to be relatively safe for the rest of the fight. And this Dragon, its patience was very much getting tested throughout the entirety of this Skimmy. However, Bass finally will be able to go in there and pick up the objective for his team. He equals that one out to 1-1, and we'll see they just can't make a dent in the front line.
Bass having a good time there. And this has been a point that we've always highlighted about Mammoth. They've been a little bit indecisive in times past.
Yep.
Looks like definitely with this new roster, whatever preparation they've done in this week leading up to these matches, They've definitely turned a new chapter.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think this is a new look, right? Because they've got a scaling composition. However, they do have flavors of early game. And once again, it has to be lived that we talk about there. Well, he's the only one that's fallen down. Everywhere else, you know, the scaling lanes that I mentioned, they're actually the lanes that are getting ahead. You can see good jungle advantage right now for Bass over Praelis at the start of the game. Maybe would have said that should be Praelis' favored. It was at least the first time around, right?
Sure.
So I think, you know, this is a really, really good opening to the game. And kind of as Juve said, you got to root for Mammoth a little bit in this one. You never want to see that team, you know, not be able to pick up a victory, and it's good to see that they're starting to put together better and better performances as the OPL split goes on.
They'll be desperate for a win. Desperate to get one on the board at least. Gravitas will be wanting to keep themselves in for a chance for those playoffs, and right now, in this game particularly, a lot of that banks on the newest mid laner, Suman, who's at 140 CS, the highest in the game, by quite a sizable margin so far.
Okay, so they drop that out of turret range, and they can also... Oh, so they've pulled the aggro. That's really, really nicely done from Liv. Oh, ultimate goes across.
Aphelios finds aggro onto 3 members. Tempered Fate gets flashed away there. K-Pop does not want to be the member. Locked in place for an easy pick.
I mean, that was well played from Mammoth. Again, you can see that Liv stopped the charge initially. No one in range for the gold there, so it's going to go across the jungle. And then you have a look at the follow-up CC from both Abomination and Amel. This is the aggressive style that they were talking about. This is more of the carry potential that we expect to see from this new duo lane in the bottom lane. And I think that so far, it's coming up the goods.
Goods indeed. Because if you're looking at all these lanes right now, they are finding value, denying the Rift Herald, now pushing in topside as well to try and work and getting that turret down, the first one of this game. Because still no turrets fallen down spawn.
Yeah, I mean, that's super interesting, right? 15 minutes into this game, and we said it needs to be accelerated. We were expecting a bloodbath. Well, we kind of got neither of those things. This is a very standard game.
Yeah.
And it's probably the slowest paced game we've had for the entirety of the season so far. 6 kills, 14 minutes, 0 turrets going down. Just a couple of dragons and a Rift Herald, but no real, like, 5v5 fighter. Like, there was poking and prodding around that second dragon, right? But
yeah.
Nothing really serious breaking out just yet. And all this toing and froing, you have to say, like, the two big beneficiaries are kind of Ryze and Ornn. And the elephant in the room is the fact that this Ryze is farming at over 10 CS a minute already. And he's 164 farm. So if anyone can really take this game by the scruff of its neck on the side of the Gravitas lineup, is going to be that Ryze. And I don't think Liv can side lane against him now, like, let alone in 5 minutes time, right? So that certainly does become a worrying trend.
Yep, those two members that you highlight are the first to hit that second ultimate. We're both at level 11 right now. The gold difference is only 1k, so still a very small margin as Vision now becomes the priority towards the bottom side of this map with the next Ocean Drake up in 45. Gravitas still having trouble trying to take down this mid-tier 1. Definitely licking their wounds off that failed Rift Herald attempt.
And I wonder when we see, you know, this big fight come out, because once again, they've got Kweku away from the objective, and Gravitas has 5 members there. Are they happy to just continue to scale, or do they want to go with this one?
Kweku not going to utilize the teleport until just now. He's going to start things off with, they're just going to donate this Rift Herald. Do they even care about it? They want the fight as the Grand Skyfall is going to come on down, locking the terrain in place. K-Pop will be the first one to fall on down, and Mammoth juggle their health bars beautifully. People low, people in with a shot at trying to take more. They've got a triple. They'll find a quadra kill. Praelis, the sole survivor, and he's too low to contest. Mammoth decisively commanding this game.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great team fight coming across from Mammoth. Once again, they pull the trigger nice and early on that Ornn TP. You know, and Melk's already in there kind of poking and prodding once again on this annoying Bard. And they just wombo combo them. They're just able to land all of the damage and CC over the top of each other. They're going to be able to grab mid lane turret. They'll grab Rift Herald. They're also going to grab themselves a Departure Drake. Let's take another look at this one. So Amel right here is going to poke his head back around the corner, and they stack for him, which you never want to do against Bard. And they stack against the wall. So that's a very meaningful stun, right? Flashes out of the way. Kweku's already here, nice and early, and big damage comes across. That's going to be... Oh, Praelis, you sneaky devil.
Definitely trying to keep Gravitas in with a shot at winning this one, but yeah, just to bring it back to that team fight prior. Mammoth for finding the stuns, finding the perfect execution of their pressure, and it feels like they're overrunning Gravitas with the amount of threats that come at them. They're just unsure how to react.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's kind of what happens when you play against a beefy frontline comp, right? We take another look at what's happening here. You can see that they are trying to do this dragon as quickly as possible. They know that Praelis can be in the area. This time it's going to be the Bard stun landing, of course, with Praelus being the only jungler there. That's going to be the only smite available. They'll also translate that into a bottom turret. So really the last bastion of hope. If you're a Gravitas fan, you're standing at Helm's Deep, Skimmy. You know? The Urak High. I don't know how far I can take this one without getting copyright infringed. But they're running in. And, you know, that's Amel. And he's got his little meeps behind him. If you're Gravitas, you're just waiting for Suman.
What
to
I was
ride
gonna say,
over the
it's
hill
a
in a
moral
couple of
victory for
games.
Praelus, right? You steal away my Rift Herald, but I will take this Drake.
Yeah, I mean, Suman in this story is more of a small bearded fellow, I think. But he still needs to be bailed out of this game, is what I'm saying. He's not going to scale any better. He's a Cinderhulk jungler. They kind of suck at scaling. You know, they're going to be at front line, a warm body, if you will, but not going to do the same damage that we've seen out of things, you know, like Crocs in Italy or Bastards Gragas. This game is 3-0-3. So really what they're hoping is that Suman becomes that big that they need to send 2 or 3 members down into the bottom lane to help. And if that happens, then maybe you get a Baron, maybe you get an uneven numbered team fight on the opposite side of the map. But really, this 7,000 gold rise, one of the richest members on Summoner's Rift, needs to be the primary carry.
The richest in the game, as you can see right now, is the new AD carry Emboma for Mammoth. 7.5 and climbing. And just a quick side note, I love how in this new patch we can actually see the weapons just that much easier. Actually know what he's doing, because half the time I'm like, he just did damage.
Yeah, the visual clarity is much better with the addition of the weapons. I agree with you. Kind of, it was in the past, like, do you just see the color as it flies out of the weapon? But that clarity for a lot of people with bad eyesight probably wasn't enough, Skimmy. And this is going to be a second item Leandry's picked up, assuming. Not an item I'm used to seeing.
Not on Rise.
It's definitely not as a second item, but it is probably theoretical max DPS, right? So he probably knows at this stage of the game. This one's on him. He has to go Leandry's into most likely Void Staff, right? Otherwise, he's just not going to be able to chew through this tanky Quaker with the side lane.
He's got the Salt Boots, he's got everything to try and burn through the damage, but he's in a bit of a situation. The Ornhorn will disappear, but there's multiple members to ensure that he will fall on down. 4 boys from Mammoth rock on up and deny Gravitas of any comeback potential.
And that was the kitchen sink, Skimmy. They threw everything at him there. There was no way he was getting out of that situation alive, because you could see that they were willing to burn Ornn ultimate. They burned Gragas ultimate. They burned Amalg's ultimate. And then Liv also flew in there as well for support. Liv face checking the control of Gravitas right now.
He's not phased, however, he's just running into the Valley of Death on his own. Does put that shield up, and that does make him quite tanky right now, buying time as he's standing on the Equalizer, maybe getting a little bit too big for his boots. Baited by the teleport.
Yeah,
does buy time in the bottom side.
I would argue he should have been phased there, right? I would say he shouldn't have face checked everyone, and then when he survived the first time, he certainly shouldn't have gone back for seconds. However, he does. They do take a dragon on the bottom side. They also get a big charge out of this Herald. Now, these turrets do regenerate health, Skimmy, but they take a long time. So if there is going to be a demolished proc on there or something like that, probably could fall down. You have to say this is Queku's best performance of the OPL,
that was going to be my point to bring up. He's played Ornn the most out of all of his games, and he has been bullied pretty hard in these previous matchups, but by far this is his best performance to date.
1-0-8. He's got 100% KP as a top laner. Nearly unheard of. That means his grouping has been phenomenal. They've really fought around his teleport windows, I think, very well, Skinny. And even picked himself up pretty much a solo kill in that top lane. So, I think this is a really, really nice game. Boma's got 2 very good weapons. He's got the Scythe and the Flamethrower. Maybe up there with theoretical max DPS that you can put out in a fight. However, probably wants to get rid of Flamethrower the most. Have something like the Sniper Rifle or the Daggers come back in for a little bit of life. Let's see whether they go here.
Well, that's going to be a 2-man Cataclysm, trying to lay it on through with the red carpet. Not going to find much value there. Tempered Fate to jump on through. There they go, locking in 2 members. Beats is isolated. That's never what you want as a Silas. They're just going to take bodies. Locked in towards terrain. 3 members evaporate. And Pantheon, he's not done just yet. This guy knows no chill.
He certainly doesn't. He should find some chill, Skimmy, however, because his team is destroying Gravitas right now. And that's intentional feeding. There's actually a button you can report people for that in the game. funnily enough. However, no harm, no foul. Liv's team will be able to take themselves a dragon. Maybe could have been a Baron if he was still up and available, but don't want to risk that one too before without your mid laner available. So they'll just take the dragon off the map. That's their second for the game. We'll even it out right now. And these fights are getting more and more one-sided. You can see that Gravitas, they're trying to be decisive. Praelus, they walk through the choke, gets a flash out, immediate ult. However, that Tempered Fate gets Amalgam through the wall as well as that ultimate. And then the disruption is just too much. We already talked about these single global ultimates, but the ability to start a fight from anywhere and the damage that Abomination is able to put out now on Aphelios at 2 items is just huge. Lived then, for the victory of the day, dedicates his life, sends himself to Valhalla as a sacrifice, a noble sacrifice, if that's gimme. I'm sure he would take it. If you said to him, you've got to die 3 times for Mammoth to be able to pick up your first win, I'm sure he would take all 3 of those. Not that they're contributing to the win in any way, shape or form, but maybe there's something there.
Unfamiliar territory for Mammoth as they find themselves up by 6k gold. 12 kills to 4 as we reach those later stages of the game. 2 Drakes apiece. Everything to play for with that Dragon Soul, but Baron is looming, and you can see Mammoth setting up beautifully now with all this vision around the jungle.
And it has got slightly more bloody, right? And if what we were waiting on for the Gravitas lineup is the Rise win condition, they certainly didn't want the game to get any more bloody. They wanted to really slow down it for him to be able to farm, you know, at that 10 CS mark. Well, he has been able to. Problem is he's now starting to get outpaced in items by the 80 carry, you know, by this Ornn, who's already nearly got himself that really, really annoying side lane item in Warmogs. The reason it's so annoying if you're Rise is your mana pool now starts racing against Kweku's health pool. And every time he ducks into Fog of War, he comes back full. And your mana pool, unfortunately, doesn't go up all that quickly. So you probably need, I don't want to say Moralic, because that's a sucky item to build on Rise. Probably needs a Void Staff next to be brutally honest. But I don't really see a way that he hard wins this side lane now until maybe 4 or 5 items.
You know, there's 3 Ornn upgrades already.
Ooh, he went Youmuu's first. Look, if my mid laner dived tier 2 turret that way, he would not be getting my first upgrade. That would be going to my 80 carry.
Yeah, he's got the Infinity Edge there as well. Incredibly protective with the stopwatch as well.
Maybe it didn't. Maybe it went to Bass first, and Kweku's just level 15, so he's got all of them now. Locket's going to be the last one at level 16. And this is really, really well played by, once again, Kweku. He would definitely be my MVP. Kweku or Bass, definitely this game, have been the standout performances for me. Malga also having a pretty good debut.
Definitely showcasing what he can do in this one. Is Gragas going to steal it away? He cannot. 150 CS up on this Pantheon, but as you highlight, at this stage of the game and that side lane pressure, aren't able to really find that much further. Kweku definitely showcasing what Ornn can do. And with that Sunfire Cape, or the Forge Fire Cape now, ever scarier.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough to push him out of that lane, right? Taking a look at kind of Gravitas' options right now, they need to hope that the map stays exactly like this, right? Kweku in the bottom lane means there's no real tank for that Baron. Human, once again, can do some damage to him. You see the damage does come out there. He's going to be able to one-hit this way. And Lived right now has decided to not farm. So he's nearly the same level as a Malg. And he is the same level as his jungler, which is really, really worrying, right?
Yep.
He's also 150 CS. And while Sylas is in a similar situation, at least Sylas can steal Ornn ult. Now that's really what this Sylas is going to be. He's going to be a really crap Ornn. So he's going to steal the ult, and then he's going to jump in, maybe CC one person, and most likely die.
Hope for the
but
best.
at least he can do that. I don't even know whether Pantheon does that late game. He kind of throws his body at people. Makes loud noises.
You can see how choked out Gravitas are right now. Just no vision whatsoever. They get a bit of a reprieve to go through and try clear some of that themselves. But towards the Baron Pit especially, Mammoth have had the turn of fate, obviously the easier access with the entrance to the Baron Pit. Obviously the major factor being that they're up by 5k plus ornaments. And they know they're so far ahead that, yeah, Lived is acting like a second support in a way.
Yeah, he's just escorting his 80 carry around the map right now. They need to get themselves back on this mid lane wave. Dragon probably going to be for free, you would have to assume at this stage of the game. Certainly not willing to risk the game ending over a third Drake. Fourth Drake you can make an argument for. especially because that would just make Ryze's job in the side lane probably impossible at that stage.
It's interesting to see Aphelios actually going for the Hex Drinkers. They're not going to go for your typical Zeal upgrade into maybe a Runins. He's really respecting the win condition that can come out from this Ryze and his magic damage and how far he's going deep into this, magic penetration, if you will.
And Liv might be dead. No, he's not.
Peach
He's
tried
gonna
to
live.
copy him. That was the crappy Pantheon that you talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. However, they should be able to get a gold objective trade for this. They're going to be able to take themselves the top lane turret. That will give the gold over to Suman. Meanwhile, however, mid lane is being pushed, actually, by the Mammoth lineup. That forces everyone to come mid. Baron gets started up here. I think this could be disastrous, so they need to get out.
Raw damage for Aphelios, attack speed and lifesteal for Puma right now. And you can feel that they've been dancing around this Baron for a good part of 5 minutes now. Side lane pressure has been, for the most part, 4-1, with Kweku and Siuman stuck to that side of the map, but Mammoth have been dictating when and if this Baron will go down.
And Mboma must be on a lot of gold. He's been on Summoner's Rift for quite a long time now. See Kweku take next to no damage. We'll just be able to heal that up. That Baron, not Baron, Warmog's regeneration is just gross.
It's nuts. I don't see a world in which this Kweku does die. He's in a situation now to back up Liv, who once again is playing fiddle, he's playing chicken, and he's playing knock, 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 because they come on through looking for Praelus. If they can get this, will just be absolutely huge. That means Baron will be free without a smite. He's going to flash away, but it will fall on down. Basta pick that one up, and Liv gets a kill onto Siuman. The final hope, the last chance for Gravitas to potentially win this game. He will not survive. Mammoth! They're giving me goosebumps. They are looking at a potential first win in the OPL with this new bot lane showing they can bring the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. They will take themselves a Baron off the back end of a flawless team fight. It's going to be 4-for-1. The boys from Mammoth right now look so damn confident just marching forward. Liv survived for so long due to Pantheon's E. Now with this Baron buff, with how strong Kweku and Abomination are, this should be their first W. Taking another look at this one, you see Liv kind of just able to stay alive for a very long time. And with that redemption coming in, you see the crappy Ornn ultimate coming across from Beats. Kweku's going to W that one out. Bit of anti-synergy here. But really, the big story, as we cut away, was the fact that no one was able to kill Kweku. He just marched at them, skimming.
Yeah, it's what I said at the start of that fight, and it's what we'll stick with because he is a beefy boy. Game of the split for him so far, nearly at max level, sitting at 17, the highest in the game. It's been the story for him, and I'm terrified for Gravitas right now because you talk about the two key members, Praelus and Siuman, little to no impact in that game, despite how strong they've been in past, and how this Ryze is just so far ahead of the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they've committed a lot of minion kills, right? Ryze 336 at 31 minutes, so still farming ahead of the clock. So it hasn't been the farming that's been the problem. It's just that they cannot get through Kweku. Look at him. He's just unrelenting with his pressure on Summoner's Rift right now. They've also got Pantheon in the mid lane. He can join this fight if he wants. Also has himself a GA, so maybe the next dive underneath the turret won't be as felt. Here we go. Ornn ultimate used.
That's going to be the one coming out of the side list to try and defend this base. Mammoth looking to knock on the door and take down the inhibitor with Drake spawning in 1 minute 30 there, threatening Soul Point. They've got Baron. They're putting pressure in mid and top.
Yeah, they shouldn't need this, Drake. I mean, really what they should be doing is marching Kweku across here, ulting the turret to be able to break the base. You can see right now that Liv posturing so aggressively. Mid lane turret will go down. Is there going to be a fight?
Tempered Fate to start things off with self-cast on Amelg as Praelus jumps into the fray. Cataclysm onto free, trying to buy time for his team to survive. Puma, despite all the lifesteal, he will fall on down. He just does not do enough. Liv survives, he gets a procer triumph, he rocks the runes, he survives to tell the tale. They find an ace, Bass gets a triple kill. Fantastic performance out of him. And Spawn, they're looking at their first stop.
Yeah, that's going to do it, Skimmy. That's going to be Mammoth picking up the first victory for the OPL 2020 campaign.
How good of a feeling this must feel for them. A new roster, a new victory, a new feeling in the camp of Mammoth. Picking up the win convincingly. 21 kills to 4 against Gravitas.
Very nicely done for the boys from Mammoth. You could see that there was just a different pace to that game. Solo kills in the top lane for Kweku. Bass having complete run of the jungle. Couple of new picks, couple of new members. They looked the goods today, and Gravitas really never got any momentum in that game.
We're talking about early game. We're talking about trying to scale on through. Neither really showcased any form of threat. And for Mammoth, very, very happy with a performance like that. Must do so much for their confidence going into these latter weeks. And to say, look, we can find a win. This is our best chance at getting it. And maybe we can utilize this momentum to try and build upon other opponents in that section of the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now they've got to be, really happy with how their newest members on the stage played. No nerves whatsoever.
Yeah.
And kind of a new look draft and the ability to be able to translate that into the mid-later stages of the game. We said they did scale very well. Maybe one of the first time where I feel like they've outright scaled their opponents on equal terms. And yeah, I think that just gave them a lot more confidence to be able to play the game at their pace, and they played it very nicely.
Well, Mammoth will not go without a win this season. They're happy with their performance, but some other people that are happy are these chaps in the building drawing some beautiful paintings.
Thank you very much, Skimmy. Well done, Mammoth. All they needed was new bot lane, you here,
I didn't want to say it.
and to play well. Well done. That must be such an exciting feeling for them. Juice, you're happy by proxy?
Well, they had a really good draft. I think it was a bit of a draft gap as well. So, by proxy, I am happy. Yes, I was rooting for them. I wanted them to get their first win.
You were, and I feel like in some ways you're responsible for it. But someone on the couch is way more responsible for it. Rusty, take us away.
And it's not me, it's Liv that is much more responsible.
It's not
for
you.
it. Congratulations on your first win in the OPL. Of course, we have to start with that. How does it feel?
Feels absolutely amazing.
And how was the team atmosphere?
Oh
Not just
my
you, it was
God.
the first win for everyone.
Oh,
How was that?
everyone was so happy. It was goddamn amazing. It was beautiful.
So, okay, so let's start at the beginning. A lot of people would say that was a draft win for you guys. Do you feel a very similar way?
I think the draft had something to do with it, but I also feel like we played much better. We've been practicing much harder and trying to get this win. So
And what about the practice changes? Is it the roster changes that have affected
the roster
this in some way?
changes, and we've just changed our schedule and how everything we do, and we've just changed everything pretty much.
So how does a schedule change result in such a big shift in performance?
Well, we used to be a lot more not as strict, so we were just just mess around and stuff. But we've just been getting a lot stricter on what we do. We VOD review a lot more. We our scrims are a lot more competitive. We try actually test things and win much more now.
So there's a lot more knuckling down and
Yeah.
getting serious. So
Yeah.
I guess with that, do you feel like when you join the OPL, do you feel like there's a honeymoon period, at the start where it's just exciting to be here, and then it
Yeah.
does hit that sobering point for you guys? Is that the moment where you're we need to win. Let's get more serious.
Yeah, definitely. We're all still very nervous. We get very nervous on stage. So I think once the nerves come down, I think we'll actually be playing much better.
Okay. And lastly, for you specifically, we'll disregard a couple of Pantheon ults in that game. We'll talk about you as an individual. Chaz came up to you and said some things. You don't need to speak too much about that, but the mindset of the things that Chaz told you, do you think that's true in that when you're playing at home compared to when you're on stage, things are very different?
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot more comfortable. It's like I can just play the way I want without being what's the word? How do I explain this? Judged or
Okay.
I'm not gonna mess up. I'm not afraid of messing up in solo queue, so I just have no pressure on me, really.
Less eyes watching
Yeah.
you, right, compared to this.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for that. Before I send you anywhere, I do have to ask, are you interested in helping, what's the word, salvage some of the paintings that have been going on here?
Honestly, that's a lot better than what I could do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to come up and have a go with one of them, though?
Oh, I don't know. I think I would ruin it.
You can do the black if you want. There's a lot of black.
You can't really put black on the painting.
Oh, sure, I guess.
That's the nicest thing that anyone said to me in the whole studio today.
Go
Was
for
that
it.
it's better than I could do.
Yeah, it's
There you
true.
go. There you go. So I just remember, don't go too low because I still need to do a blue shirt. Anything else that's white is fair game.
I got this.
Yep,
Easy.
fantastic.
Better
He's
than
got-
my Pantheon ults.
Well,
I
you got
guess.
some good mechanics in the wrist there, so it's all right.
Nick's
Those-
very
those-
serious right now. There's a lot of focus.
We're calling this the Pog Champion emote.
Ooh, I like it.
Yep,
That is pretty poggers.
yep. I did the hair.
Oh, nice.
I did the hair. Well, congratulations, Liv. Congratulations, Mammoth, on the first win. May there be many more to come. And we will have one more game for you after this break.
They're just going to donate this Rift Hill. Do they even care about it? They want the fight as the Grand Skyfall is going to come on down, locking the terrain in place. K-pop will be the first one to fall on down, and Mammoth juggle their health bars beautifully. There they go, locking in two members. Beats is isolated, and that's never what you want as a Silas. They're just going to take bodies. We're looking for Praylist. If they can get this, it'll be absolutely huge. That means Baron will be free without a smite. He's going to flash away, but it will fall on down. Basta pick that one up, and Lived gets a kill onto Sium in the final hope. The last chance for Gravitas to potentially win this game. He will not survive. As Praylist jumps into the fray, Cataclysm onto 3, trying to buy time for his team +5. Puma, despite all the lifesteal, he will fall on down. He just does not do enough. Liv survives, he gets a proper triumph. He rocks the runes, he survives to tell the tale. They find an ace. How good of a feeling this must feel for them. A new roster, a new victory, a new feeling in the camp of Mammoth. Picking up the win convincingly.
Feeling the heat? Grab a pineapple or pineberry frozen Fanta mix at Macca's. With 36 flavours, it's the largest range in Australia. Grab one for only $1. A little goes a long way at Macca's.